And in bees, there are 3 types of bees. There are the worker bees, and those are the ones that are most common. They're the ones that, they're the most of those, and they do most of the work. Then also in the hive, there are drones. They are the boys in the hive. Then there's the queen bee. There's only one. She is the one that lays all the eggs and controls all the other bees. She tells them what to do. Yeah. Let's see. And then another thing that bees do when bees live in a hive, and what they do in that hive is they make honey and they grow. The hive grows. The queen produces more and more bees. And eventually, the bees will outgrow that hive. They'll get so big that they can't all fit. And when that happens, some of the bees split off and go and swarm to another place. And they go and just fly off and go live in another area. Do you have a question?
What happens when the queen dies?
When the queen dies, that's a good question. So, the queen, let's say this is a queen, she lays eggs in those cells in the comb. She lays eggs that she can make them either workers or drones. So, those are the girls and boys. And when the queen dies, she already has a lot of eggs laid, right? She's already been laying the few days before she died. And when the queen dies, the workers realize that she's dead, and they change some of the eggs by adding this stuff called royal jelly to it, and that changes those eggs into queens. So the workers change the existing eggs into what will turn out to be queens.
How many usually?
They don't do too many. They usually do between 4 or 5, I think, and then they hope that one of those will come out to be a queen. It doesn't always work, but usually they have a big enough chance that 1 or 2 or 3 of them will become queens. Then, once those queens come out of the cells, then they fight, because there can only be one queen in every hive. So they have to fight, and the one that comes out as the winner will become the queen of the hive. So good question. And also, so about swarms, if this is spring, which it's a good season for when bees will start to swarm, because they'll be growing and they'll be getting big enough to where they want to start going out and finding new hives soon. And so if you see a swarm, you don't want to kill it, because the population of bees in the world is declining, and bees are really good because they keep our fruits and plants alive. So if you see a swarm out somewhere, then you don't want to spray it. Or kill it. You want to just let it be, and it'll probably move on. They sometimes land in areas to rest, but then they move on quickly. So don't worry if you see a swarm. Just give it some space, and it'll move on.
What if they do see one and get stung?
Well, if you've been stung by a bee, then I told you about how the stinger comes out of the bee, right? When they die, when they sting, the stinger is pulled out. So when they sting you, the stinger is actually left in your skin, and it won't kill you, but the stinger does have some hormones and chemicals in it that make it hurt more. So it's not just like being pricked by a needle or something. It has some chemicals that make it hurt more. And what you want to do is don't pick at it, because that'll actually squeeze the chemicals into you. What you want to do is take the flat edge of, say this is just a knife here. You take the flat edge and scrape away the stinger. You just scrape it along the edge of your skin, and it'll scrape the stinger out to where it doesn't actually let the chemicals get into you. So you don't panic. It may hurt a little bit, but you just have to stay calm, and you can slide it out.